It's been a minute, guys. Times are really weird right now. That being said, I'm finally going to get some more work done on the WRX, and hopefully today I'll actually be able to get it smogged. But before I get it smogged, there's just a few things that I need and that I want to do in order for it to actually pass. First thing is getting some new exhaust hangers. As you can see, the previous owner just has these zip tied on there. It's not really doing any good, and this thing's just flopping around. That's honestly probably why the weld on the exhaust near the cat broke off and I had to re-weld it. So I got a couple of these universal exhaust hangers. I went with these because I plan on redoing the exhaust set at some point. I like the idea of having the adjustability. I thought these would work. I was only looking at the exhaust side of the hanger, which is really small, and it actually fits in here really well. But unfortunately, for the Subaru size, it's a good like 3 times bigger. So these actually aren't gonna work. So I'm just gonna kinda have to work with zip ties for now, which is fine. We're not gonna be doing much driving. So on to the next thing I have to get done, which is replacing the vapor canister purge cylinder. This is what it looks like. It's just tucked back in there. Unfortunately, one of these, the bottom nipple actually broke off. And this is a smog piece, so if you don't have it or it's not working, it's not gonna pass smog, so I gotta get that swapped out real fast.
Now allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me J-O-N to the easy E.
Alright, so that guy's in there. I ended up having to use a bigger hose for this one because the other one was so hard and cracked. I had to throw a little clamp on here. It'll work for now, just to get it smogged until I get new hoses. I want to go ahead and replace all the hoses in the car because they're all definitely pretty hard and old. But now that's done and that part should pass smog. So I only have a couple more things to do. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the side skirts for now, just because they were broken. Can't really show you, can't take it off. So really, I just don't want them to end up ripping off. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove those. And then I only have one more thing left to do. And then hopefully we can get it on over to a smog shop.
One more time, this is forever. Remember the legend, he never gonna die. Yeah. I ain't bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive. I ain't bigger dead than alive, dead than alive. Yeah. I ain't bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive. Just making sure that you know why, because this is forever.
I hadn't realized just how smashed all of these pinch welds are at the jack points. The side skirts definitely hid that fact. I mean, they looked a little bit damaged, but as you can see, they're pretty much like completely smashed. But because the side skirts were on when I was taking a look at it, I guess I just didn't notice it. As far as the side skirts go, they're pretty beat up. But a lot of the mounts are like this, where they've just broken off. So I was originally planning on fixing these up, but now I think I've decided to go a different route. I might go ahead and try and source some used ones, but if I can't find some for a good price, I'll just have to buy some OEM ones, which the OEM ones are trying to sell them for like $200 a piece, so it'd be like $400 just for a couple new side skirts. But from what I can find online, even the used ones are going for about that price, so I'll just keep an eye out. So when I swapped in the new JDM engine, I went ahead and swapped over the JDM TGV valves as well, because the JDM TGV valves are just straight through. Versus the US ones have a electronically controlled flap, and it's a smog piece. So because I don't have them hooked up anymore, they're not plugged in anymore, it's throwing a check engine light, and with that check engine light, I'm not gonna be able to smog the car. So I picked up this Tactrix dongle. Basically what it does is it allows you to access your ECU through the OBD2 port. It'll let you flash, tune, change anything you want. It'll read codes, all that stuff. When it comes to the O2 WRX, you have this little jumper that you have to plug in order to flash it or tune it. Funny enough, I didn't know that you actually needed that until I went to go buy the Tactrix cable, and so I went ahead and got the little jumper as well. But if any of you guys remember, this car actually originally came with a hybrid. When I bought the car, that had a spun rod bearing. That's why I swapped the engine out. And I figured they probably did some tuning to it, but I mean, really, there's no way to tell. If you can see right down here, that's the little jumper right there. So it's definitely been tuned before, but because I have a JDM engine, it's completely different. I am gonna have to tune it again anyways. But right now, what I need to do to get it smogged is get rid of that check engine light, and then I should be able to run it over and get it smogged.
I ain't bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive. I ain't bigger dead than alive, dead than alive, yeah. I ain't bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive.
Yeah, so I figured out how to do it. The program I'm using is ECU Flash. As you can see, these are pink. So I've enabled these. These are the TGV check engine light codes. So it's fixed all those. I also did the force past the readiness monitors. That's for smog, so that I don't have to drive it like 300 miles to get them to run through that process. So I flashed the ECU. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it up and see if it worked. Check engine lights off. So now I'm gonna go ahead and call a smog shop and make sure they're actually accepting walk-ins. With the whole coronavirus thing going on, places have different hours and stuff, so I guess I should just give them a call. If they're open, go ahead and grab some gas and then run it over. So we're all good to go. I just have to grab some gas on the way. Hopefully we can get it there, and hopefully it'll smog. And hopefully we don't get pulled over along the way, because with the coronavirus, all the DMVs are closed, so I'm not able to get a temporary registration. So I guess we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it goes okay. So the WRX actually did not pass smog. He didn't even smog it, so he didn't try and charge me for it, which is really cool. Basically, he took it in there and he noticed right off the bat that it had a catless up pipe. And well, I knew that was a possibility from the beginning. I just wanted to, since I didn't have a stock up pipe to begin with when I got the car, I wanted to try and get it smogged with that up pipe on, just to see. I figured it wouldn't be worth the hassle if I could get it smogged with the up pipe, which I've heard several people actually doing. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out this time. If you've seen some of my other videos, you would know that the engine is a JDM engine. So you know that it has the AVCS solenoids on the heads, which is basically Subaru's version of variable valve timing. And I'm not using them, and the US wiring harness doesn't have a plug for them. So obviously I just left them unplugged, but he did notice that as well, and basically told me that I wouldn't smog having them. So it's kind of hard to see, but this is the AVCS right here. This is the plug that's unplugged that he noticed. And there's another one just like it on the other side. In order to get it smogged, because California is just kind of dumb about stuff like that, I'm gonna go ahead and try and source a catted up pipe, an OEM up pipe, and then I'm going to put the TGV valves back on. And then I'm gonna take a dummy wire, because I have the JDM wiring harness. I'm gonna take the plugs to those. I'll plug them into the solenoids and kind of route the wire and hide it. Make it look like it's kind of in the wiring harness, and hopefully I'll take it to a different guy, and then hopefully it'll actually end up smogging. Because regardless, it'll pass a sniffer test, no problem. The only issue is the visual. So it kind of sucks and it's extra work, but it is what it is. I'll get it figured out. But regardless, I'm super excited to have it running, and I just can't wait to start modifying it and actually being able to really drive it around. I wasn't pushing it hard or anything today, because I know it had that hybrid engine and it was probably tuned. So it's not tuned for what it has in it right now. So I don't want to be pushing it and actually like really going into boost until I at least get a stock EJ205 tune on it. But anyways guys, I appreciate you watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.